Hello and welcome again friends. So now friends, as we have completed the accordance part in the last section, and now I am dealing with the autocomplete method. So what is basically a autocomplete method? The autocomplete method is basically whenever we enter any of the tag or keyword, it automatically completes the search by itself. So it saves times to go to the particular object that we want. Now, if you are working in the future for any of the interface company or you are creating any of your project for clients, then your first requirement of the client will be the autocomplete. So every website or every app should be with the autocomplete method. Like whenever you type A in your contact list, it automatically filters all the things which comes from A. So in this way we are going to do in this lecture or in this section. So autocomplete method in jQuery UI. Autocomplete method is frequently used in modern websites to provide the users a list of suggestions while typing the beginning word in the text box. It facilitates the user to select an item from the list, which will be displayed in the input part when we click on the given selected option. The basic use of this method is that it prevents the user from having to enter the entire word or a particular set of words. So now jQuery UI provides an autocomplete widget to facilitate user by giving a list of suggestions to type in a text box. The autocomplete method acts as a drop down in which the choices are filtered as per the user is typing. As the users start entering the word more accurately, then the options keeps on filtering to provide it with the closest choice which match the user's keyword. So it means that like you have two words, which means first is actual and the third one is according. So the spelling of actual is ACTUAL and the according is ACCO. So when you type the word AC, these two searches will be there, but it depends on the third part, which means ACT or ACC. If you type the ACC, then the according part will be directly in your text box. If you type ACT, then it will be the actual part. And if you type anything else from both these, so these searches will get to an end. So in this way the autocomplete part works. Now these are the two syntaxes which we have to follow. So $select a comma context autocomplete options, and the second one is the autocomplete action comma params. Now starting with the method. The autocomplete method specifies that an HTML input element, input means like wherever we are using a label, a radio button, a checkbox or anything, must be managed as an input field that will be displayed above a list of suggestions. Here the options parameter is an object that specifies the behavior of the list of suggestions when the user is typing in the input field. So the second part is, if you want more options, then you can use $select a comma context dot autocomplete option 1 value 1 option 2 value 2 until n options and n values you can enter. Now here are the list of some options which we can use. Source. This option specifies the manner in which the data that matches the input data is obtained. You must have to provide a value or the autocomplete widget will not work. Now the source part is a very important part as far as the autocomplete method is concerned, because the source provides the destination or the search part. Like we are using a variable which is result, and we are entering all the values which a user can search, and in the source part we will enter the name as result, which means the search is to be from the source as result. So when we perform the program you will understand it in a better way. Now position. This option identifies the position of the suggestion menu according to the input element. So whenever you have to find the position, then we can use the position option. Min length, which is the minimum length. It specifies the number of characters that must be entered before trying to obtain the matching values. By default its value is 1. So this basically defines that what number of length we have to enter, like m, or we can directly find the search in this way. Append to. This option is used to append an element to the value. By default its value is null. Disabled. If this option is set to true, the autocomplete widget is disabled initially. Default value is false. Autofocus. If this option is set to true, the first item of the menu will automatically be focused when the menu is shown. By default its value is false. So many times you have observed that we are entering any like li, so we have entered li in the list. So anything which filter the search for li will directly be the first option which is focused, and when we push and enter to it, it will directly in the text box. Delay. This option specifies a time delay in milliseconds to wait before the matching values are obtained. Default value is 300. So let you have entered a text A in your text box. After 300 milliseconds, it will arrive a filtered part, which means all the suggestions will arrive after 300 milliseconds. So this is the delay option. So now we are taking a simple example in which we are going to use the autocomplete method by passing no parameters to it. So now we are moving on to our Dreamweaver software to perform the further program. So now friends, here in front of us is our Dreamweaver program code. Now starting with all this, so the title we can enter here is autocomplete method. So this is all the same part which we have used the link, the script, these two scripts are there to include the CDN of the jQuery UI. Now this will be a very simple program and you will understand and enjoy it very seriously. So starting with this, I am taking the div and taking a class here. Now the class will be UI widget, because the autocomplete is a part of widget, so we have to call the widget class. Now I am entering B and I'm closing it, and let's say I am taking the list of total games available in this way, and I will use a label option which we mostly use for forms, and we will use games, and we can provide a name to it, games, and we will use label. Now we will take a ID here, so input ID, and we will take games. It's very good task to take the for part and the game and the for part and the ID part equal, so it removes the confusion that what we have to use, and since it is allowed in JavaScript, so in this way we can use this, and we will close the div part here. Now we have completed with all the part of HTML, so this is the only part which we have to use, and the one good thing is that we don't have to include any CSS part in this as per your choice, but it is very much decorative in itself. Now script, I am using the JavaScript part here, and I will close this in this way. Now let's say I am declaring a variable, say games, and I am taking this sign, and I am starting to create the values here. So cricket, and putting a comma, football. You can create any list. I am just taking it for games, and I can take hockey. I can use swimming. I can use tennis. Always remember to put in double quotes. And the last one is I can use table tennis in this way. So I have entered some of the name of games. So now what we have to do is, firstly we have entered the game name, and now we will close it and put a semicolon at the last. So we have completed with the game part. Now we will call the ID, which is games. So I am calling the ID here, hash games. You can observe the ID that we have taken the ID as games in this way, and we will enter autocomplete functionality. So we have entered the functionality here, and we will start with the brace. Now what we have to enter here is the source, that from what source these values are coming. So source, and you can observe here that the source is games, which means the games is the source from which we are getting the values. So we are entering games in this way. The way of source is this, and we have used there. So we have completed with the script part. We have just entered the values and taking a variable as games. We have taken the ID. We have entered the ID here. No matter, you can take the ID, the name, and everything can same. You can enter any other source, like you can take variable ABC and you can enter the source here ABC. The same work will be performed. So in this way you have used the source as the values. So all the values which you have entered here is directly arriving here, and it is performing the autocomplete functionality. So I am saving it and we are moving on towards the output. So now friends, here in front of us is our output. So total games available, and games is the part which we have entered. Now let's say that I am entering C. So let's say we are entering C. So cricket and hockey, these are the two filtered items, like cricket which is including C and hockey which is including C. Now let's say I am taking T. So cricket, football, tennis and table tennis, all of this which are including the T part is arriving here. So friends, I am sure that you understood that how we can use the autocomplete method in jQuery UI. The jQuery UI autocomplete method is the most demandable method in every user interface part. So it's very careful to use it. So friends, I am sure that you understood the use of autocomplete and how to apply it. So we will soon meet in a next lecture with some new concept. Thank you for watching this lecture.